Hi guys, welcome to the Silver Report. Today is Wednesday, January 18th, 2017. Silver is currently trading at 17.20. It's 8:33 a.m., so it's at 17.20. Gold is at 1213 and 50 cents. And let's get into some of the economic news. For today, one thing that is a great outlook going forward. We've had like this excitement, this trading boom. The stock market is rising, and we know the economy is just terrible. We're seeing things in the news where they're saying the Federal Reserve, if they see any kind of things changing too fast, they're going to raise interest rates. They plan on 3 interest rates rate hikes next year. We have a Federal Reserve that is bent on destroying the economy. They know that this is not beneficial to the economy. They can't really see any real rebound taking place. Another thing to worry about in Davos, these elite bankers and world controllers are meeting, and one of the main key points on their agenda is the strong dollar, the dangers of a strong dollar, and a confrontational U.S. president. U.S. nationalism is one of their main dangers, which at this point I understand it. I understand because for so long our country's been handing away money, handing away our jobs. Millions of manufacturing jobs, and because this money has been slowly siphoning, more than that, the big investors have been moving their money over into the Chinese stock markets, the Japanese, the Indian stock markets, a lot of the major players. You see the ultra-rich in this country, they don't stay within the bounds of the United States. They're not American patriots. Their money is in all of these other markets. And so this is a very key discussion and decision to watch, is when these world banking elites, the leaders of the world banks throughout Europe and China, and these world economies and presidential leaders, they all work in step with one another. And some of their discussions about how they need to suppress the U.S. dollar, how they need to suppress a president who wants to see individual sovereignty reign, see America thrive, see tariffs on China. For one, we're going to get put into some really, really shaky ground. And to tell you the truth, free trade should have never been given to China. We see that they have overtaken us in economic production. They have had a massive boom. They have become the place to go for investors, the place for money to go, the place for factories to go. And they are crushing us on the world stage. And before long, we will have nothing left. So something needs to be done about it. 35%, that's kind of high. At the same time, I see what he's doing, and the effects of this is not going to be able to be seen immediately, and that's why it's something to worry about him meeting a second term, because these promises he made, it's kind of like when something's so bad and people want to believe it's good. They don't really understand the dynamics of the problem, which is that manufacturing, there's no way that we can compete. When you have 3,000 slaves hand assembling Apple iPhones, hand assembling them, putting together all of the electronics. And we look at America, we have a minimum wage. It's still moderately low. It borders around $8 around the country. These people are making 30 cents a day and working for 14 hours. We cannot compete with that. So a tariff, it makes sense. It's going to shake up the world, though. It's going to shake up the world. We see that one thing to also watch, Mexico is already on the border of revolution. There's riots in the streets almost daily. The people are upset. They're revolting. And there's a great danger of its collapse. And also, he's talking about a border deal. Trump is going ahead and saying how he's going to keep these companies in America. If you move, you're going to pay a massive border tax. It makes sense for the American worker, but it's hurting the world economy. China, it's really going to see some real instability come out of China, and their markets are not going to miss us. Most of the goods in this country are produced in China. Our retail is already suffering. It's something that will take a long time to see the fruits of, to be able to return manufacturing to this country, to be able to stand up for America. But for the most part, we were not going to probably see it through to its end before it's released by whoever is chosen to be our next president. But one thing that is positive about it is that there's all this excitement. There's this Trump rally that is going on, and these investors are getting into the stock market. Is there cause for it? Not necessarily. But the one thing that will come positive out of it, and this is for metal investors, those who are invested in gold, invested in silver, is that because we're still due for a market correction, regardless of who is elected. They don't have that much power over the world. We're due for a market correction. There's been a massive bubble building. He even said it as he was being campaigning. There's a massive bubble. There's a dollar bubble. There's a debt bubble. Our nation's debt is higher than it's ever been in the history of the world, and we're heading into inflation and possibly hyperinflation in the immediate future. So all of this excitement and celebration on Wall Street, this rally that was going on where they have these investors. The good thing is they pulled some of these investors that were invested over in China, invested over in India, because they know that right now you could buy the American market low, and they see a great outlook for a production in America. And so they see, this is the time to get in, a time to get in when it's low. And it's a great buying opportunity. And so they're pulling their money from these Indian stock markets, Chinese stock markets, all these world markets, and they're putting in. Is their enthusiasm misplaced? Right now, it was interesting. I was looking at how they were discussing that America's unemployment is at an extreme low. It's almost to the point where there's zero unemployment, and if they see those unemployment numbers slip even the least bit, that they're going to continue to raise interest rates. They're going to need to be able to combat inflation. That they're talking about some serious inflation setting in all around the country, all around the world, throughout Europe and Greece and all of them. They said they cannot even cease from quantitative easing because of a rising dollar and these trade tensions. That it's causing them to lose their currency, and the Eurozone is ready to break apart. So we're seeing some serious instability in the world. But the great news is that when these investors who have pulled their money from these foreign accounts and foreign trades begin to see the writing on the wall, like most of you do, and they begin to see the blood in the streets, this mass sell-off that is taking place, and they begin to pull out their money, it's great because it's been liquidated. It's liquid. It's moving. These assets have been brought back into the United States, and they're going to go to metals. Probably 3 months, 6 months, we're going to see a massive rise in metals. It's almost inevitable because this correction is coming. The economy is not booming. It's all speculation on a boom, all speculation on what it means to have lower taxes and less restrictions. But, these are extreme steps. This is what needs to be done. But, like the Federal Reserve is already saying, we've been asking for years for someone to do something to be able to fix this economy. And they've got nothing at all. No actions, no positive steps, no changes or anything like that. And now they want to do too much too fast. They want to say, we want to fix it. We want to fix it now. We're tired of the people suffering. And they said, we just can't allow that. We just can't allow that. We plan for several interest rate hikes throughout the next year. They say we cannot allow this economy to recover. The world banks, the world elite that are meeting in Davos at the World Economic Summit. We cannot allow a strong dollar. We cannot allow tariffs. We cannot allow a confrontational President Donald Trump. And worse than this, when have you ever seen a president-elect? And they're planning riots in the streets. If you're in D.C., protect yourself, protect your home, protect your family, invest in some window protection, invest in some new door locks, bar the doors, because they're calling for riots in Washington, D.C. Within the next couple of days. They are already planning it. They say most of the parking spaces are reserved for riot groups, protest groups, communist groups. They are planning for a mass disturbance, and it's going to be bad. And I expect that we might not even get through this speech. We might not even get through this swearing in. That they're already planning for a massive dramatic event to take place in Washington, D.C. So you need to be prepared. You need to be safe. If you can and you're in the city, don't go watch the show. Get out of the city. Take a vacation. Make sure you're safe. Lock your doors. Feed the dog. Feed your fish. And get out of the city. Because they are calling for this. They're organizing this using the mainstream corporate media to be able to organize these protests. So you need to be aware of what's coming. We have some massive unrest coming, massive unease, and it may erupt throughout several U.S. cities this weekend and continue for a little while. So be prepared. Secure your business. Secure your home. Because in the long run, this is what they want. They want unrest. They want riots. You can see in the propaganda playing in every major city throughout the United States, nonstop, about the unfairness of the system, about how the system, because they want us separated. They don't want us together. They saw the people were waking up. They were waking up to the Federal Reserve scandal, Federal Reserve scheme. They were understanding that the government was not giving them a fair shake. And so we're divided again, aren't we? Divided over all different kinds of subjects. They want to bring up the most divisive subjects and put them on the front cover of Time magazine. Put them on the front cover of the New York Times. Put them on ABC, NBC, even Fox News. The most divisive topics. A people united cannot be defeated. And they know this, so they unite them against each other. They unite them against the system. There was a time in this country when someone was elected, we just said that as the president. Mainstream media, TV show hosts saying, not my president? No, they're organizing and they're planning for unrest, so make positive steps to be able to prepare yourself. And before this market collapses and these people get in, there's a tremendous opportunity for short-term profits in the gold and silver markets. So take your time now and prepare. Get ready. Prepare even for the electrical grid. To go out. Any kind of mass disturbance that might take place during this time. Prepare, get some food, get some water on hand. But again, thank you guys for joining me. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe, like, share the video, leave a comment in the comment box, any hints, what you're going through, some of the steps that might be helpful for me. And I just thank you so much for joining me, and you guys have a great day.